Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tahir and you are watching live HR Consultants Pakistan. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो मैं अपने तमाम व्यूवर्स को आज इन्फॉर्म करना चाहूँगा कि आज का जो हमारा स्पेशल सेशन होने जा रहा है बहुत एक इंपॉर्टेंट सेशन है यूके पर। बहुत से ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने क्यूरीज प्लेस की हैं रिलेटेड आईएलटीएस यूनिवर्सिटीज कोर्स फी स्ट्रक्चर और बहुत सी ऐसी स्टूडेंट्स की क्यूरीज है वीज़ा रिलेटेड से जो कि स्टूडेंट्स कंफर्म करना चाह रहे हैं, जानना चाह रहे हैं बारे में कमिंग इनटेक के लिए। तो आज हम इस पर डिस्कस करेंगे और आज हमारे साथ जो है हमने इन्वाइट किया हुआ है हमारे HR के मैनेजर हैं लाहौर की मिस मेहताब एंड मिस्टर रियास हैं, इंटरनेशनल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हैं यूनिवर्सिटी के। वेलकम टू बोथ ऑफ यू दैट यू जॉइन अस टुडे।
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now over to you, Miss Mehtab. You can continue now.
Thank you so much. Welcome, guys. Thanks to join our another live session with the HR consultants. We are very much excited that we are receiving so much inquiries from students regarding their admissions in UK. As Mr. Tahir has introduced you, that I am Mehtab Bukhari. I am Education UK Manager, work for HR Consultants. Today we have our guest. Welcome, Mr. Ron Hayes. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Very well, thank you. And you?
I think there is some technical issues. I'm very well. Mr. Ron is Global Director for Student Recruitment work for on-campus programs in UK. So we have many inquiries receiving from students because students are excited as they will be receiving the results soon. I think on 13th of August, most of A-levels candidates are going to receive their A-level results. And many other students who are studying here in Pakistan as well, studying higher secondary school certificates in Pakistan, they will be receiving their results soon as well. Some of the boards have already received and some are still expecting. So there are plenty of inquiries from students. They want to know about international admissions. And specifically, please stay tuned all students because Mr. Ron will be guiding us about the relaxed entry requirements because in this pandemic situation, many universities have relaxed their entry requirements. And he will be guiding you about like English requirements, what are the specific tests which are required to assess your English level to get admission in UK. And most excitedly, that he will be guiding you about the scholarships and different awards as well. So I'll request all my students to inquiry on our Facebook page as well, or if you want to join us, you may send a request. Our counselors are here to enter you in this live session. So you may come online and ask your question directly to Mr. Ron. All right. Yes, over to you, Mr. Ron.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much, Ms. Matab, for the introduction and for HR for hosting what I think is the first of 3 sessions this week. Obviously, today we're focusing on the UK, and I think later in the week on our European centres in Amsterdam and Lund, Sweden, and also our centres in the US. But today we'll focus on the UK. I'm delighted. I also have some of my regional team on the call. So my colleague, Talal Jelani, I think will be able to pick up some of those very Pakistan-specific questions regarding scholarships and the local entry requirements that you mentioned. But first of all, yes, if I just give a very short introduction to On Campus, as it may not be familiar to everybody, but On Campus is part of Cambridge Education Group. You can see from the backdrop, I'm actually based in Cambridge, where our head office is. And CEG has been helping international students since 1952 to progress to the UK's leading university. On Campus works with university partners across the UK and has done since 2008 to help students achieve more. And that is our strapline, and we believe very strongly that that's absolutely what our programs and centres are able to help students do. As you mentioned, results are coming out for A-levels and local high school results. Some students will have some big dreams, looking to get to some very well-known institutions, some very competitive degree programs, and perhaps the results aren't quite as good as you hoped, but that's really where On Campus can help. We have a range of programs at foundation level, at international year one level, the first year equivalent of an undergraduate degree, and at postgraduate level to help students progress on to their chosen degrees and the universities that they want to get to. We have two types of centres in the UK. We have our one-to-one centres where students come onto the campus of a particular university. They follow our program and then they progress on seamlessly to the host university. We also have a one-to-many option at two of our centres, one in London and one in the north of England, which allows students to come in, study the same programs, but they can apply to different universities, and we have an expert team in the UK who can help with that process. The one-to-one centres, we work with universities, many of which I think are very well known in Pakistan. Coventry University, obviously a very well known and ranked university in
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, ranked 15 in this year's Guardian. Awarded gold for its teaching excellence, so a really outstanding option in the Midlands. Up in the northeast, we work with the University of Hull, a very strong business and engineering option, and many of our university partners are focused on employment. And again, they work strongly with companies, global companies like BP, Novartis, and have an excellent placement rate for jobs of 95% in engineering. So a really attractive option in the northeast. Slightly further up, University of Sunderland, one of the most affordable study destinations in the UK.
Exactly.
Ranked in the top 3 for business, hospitality, event management, and we have a centre at the Sunderland campus. Closer to London, we work with the University of Reading, top 30 in the UK in the QS World Rankings, a triple accredited business school. So again, outstanding options for students looking at business related programs. And right in the heart of London, London South Bank, very well ranked for a number of strong vocationally focused career programs. 7th in the UK for accounting and finance, 11th for law, 19th for chemical engineering, all in this year's Guardian University Guide. And again, focus on employment. Top 10 in the UK for starting salaries, top 10 in the UK for graduate prospects as per the Times Good University Guide this year. So some really excellent one-to-one options. And again, guaranteed progression. When you come on our program, you follow the program, attend the course,
Yeah.
and pass the minimum scores, you have a place guaranteed at our university partners. For students who are perhaps not sure which degrees they want.
That is this thing, because
Please.
the students are more conscious about progressions. So this is the wonderful option that you guarantee 100% progression onto their relevant degree programs.
Absolutely, and that these programs obviously give that security. For those, as I said, who are perhaps not as sure about their final destination, then our one-to-many options are on-campus London, based at Birkbeck University of London. It has the best of both worlds. So we have guaranteed progression to a number of partners such as Birkbeck and Royal Holloway, but students can apply to up to 5 universities for the undergraduate degree. Similarly, based at UCLan, the University of Central Lancashire, near Manchester in the northwest of England. Again, we have guaranteed progression to UCLan, our host partner, but students can apply to Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, Sheffield, some of the very well-known UK universities in the north of England. We also have a medicine program there. Again, health and life sciences is one of the sectors we're seeing a real boom. That was before, obviously, the current global pandemic, but I think that has certainly added to the interest in that field. And again, we're very well catered for students progressing to those medical and medical-related degree programs. So yeah, we have a good range of options, hopefully for you who are getting your results shortly. And as I said, with our partners, HR consultants, and with our local team based in Pakistan, we have a really good network to help provide the guidance you need. We'll look at your individual story, your transcripts, understand what you want to achieve, and we can work with you one-to-one on finding the right solution and the right options for you across the UK. Obviously, it's a very different year this year, and we are working closely with our university partners to make sure that obviously our centres and the university campuses, your accommodation is prepared for your arrival, and that you're able to conduct your studies as seamlessly as possible, with as little impact as possible, with obviously the current restrictions that are in place. But we have moved the start of our academic year until November, which gives you longer to prepare. And obviously by that stage, we very much hope that most of the restrictions will be lifted in the UK and you'll be able to join your classes as normal. But do expect some probably more of a hybrid approach on the campuses. Some of the big lectures are likely to be online, but doing face-to-face classes, seminars, meeting your classmates and obviously your tutors, that will very much still be done face-to-face, is our expectation across all our campuses.
That is great, because most of the universities have started blended learning from September, but that is something exciting that on-campus land and on-campus other institutions, they are giving extra time to students to come on campus and join their classes. Till November, you will have plenty of time to apply for visa and to sort out like accommodation and other matters before arrival there. Yeah, that is great. Exactly.
Yeah, we know that obviously not only is the UK affected, but visa offices, English language testing centres, school transcripts. We know there are delays in lots of areas. And again, we know it's a very stressful time for the students. And we've actually moved the whole of our academic year to try and release a little bit of that stress and make it easier for students to arrive on time.
This is great. Tahir, what would you like? Would you like to invite some students to ask their questions? Should we start taking questions?
Sure, yes. I'm checking inquiry. Anis, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam, I'm good, alhamdulillah. What about you, sir?
Can you on your camera?
Not possible right now.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. Anis, yeah, what would you like to ask from Mr. Ron about your UK studies program?
Yeah, ma'am, actually, first of all, I applied earlier, like through HR consultant for BS in psychology in Birmingham City University. And they rejected my application, like I have done my intermediate in FSC pre-medical. So I guess the reason of rejection was the math was compulsory in intermediate. That's why.
Have you completed your intermediate?
Yeah, I have completed my intermediate. It's my second semester here. So I have a question, like if I completed my 2 semester here in psychology, so is it possible like I'll continue my 3rd semester or in the university?
The admission criteria
Something
in
like
UK
that.
is that if you're applying on the basis of your higher secondary school certificate, you will be considered for foundation year entry probably. So that is the best route to apply for admission. But if you have completed your 2 semesters of your bachelor's degree program in Pakistan, you may apply for the exemption of foundation year or a direct admission into 1st year of bachelor's degree. Right? I hope I have answered your query.
Yes, ma'am. That's quite impressive. I understand.
Yeah.
But
you may apply for the 1st year.
Yeah. Why not? Because in September, my 2nd semester will be completed. So I guess I'll apply for this. Actually, the HR consultant already applied on my behalf in Coventry University for a January intake.
Right. Ron, can you consider this type of candidate for the 1st year entry?
Can I just clarify? Is it to continue in psychology?
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Intermediate, he's going to be completed 2 semesters in September.
Yeah, so yes, we offer an international year 1 in psychology at Coventry, and again, obviously, I haven't seen the full details of your study background, but it sounds as though if you had received a rejection initially, that you may require that extra support during your 1st year, and therefore the international year 1 may be a very suitable program for you. And we have that available at Coventry itself.
Right.
Is there yes, ma'am.
Yeah. ask your question first, then I'll
Yeah,
explain.
sure. Actually, the reason of rejection was just because I didn't study maths in my intermediate. That's why. Because in Coventry University, there is no such rules that you have to, it's compulsory for you to have to study maths in intermediate.
Yeah, and if I'm not wrong, your just admission was declined. You haven't applied for visa.
Yes, ma'am, just
All
admission
right.
application.
So this, yeah, this is not the big deal. You may share your complete academic details with the same counselor with which you were already in contact. Share your complete details so that we may apply for your admission for on-campus Coventry International Year 1 in psychology. Right?
Is it possible, ma'am, that after completing my first year here, that can I get admission in Birmingham City University again, like after completing 1 year of my education here?
Yeah, if you want to switch over, yeah, you may switch your institution as well. If you want to progress to Coventry for completion of your BS psychology, you will be welcome over there as well.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that is that obviously the IY1 program, the International Year 1 program, is designed to progress onto the Year 2 at a specific university. So there are complexities if you try to shift institution, but obviously they can look at your first year and deem whether it's admissible to second year. But the program is designed to progress onto Coventry itself. Yeah, just sort of.
Right. Thank you so much, Anis. Thanks for joining us for your questions. Yes, Tahir.
Yes.
Who is the next candidate?
नेक्स्ट इंक्वायरी ले लेते हैं. अस्सलाम वालेकुम हसनात, आवाज आ रही है आपको मेरी?
वालेकुम अस्सलाम जी
जी, कैसे हैं आप? ठीक हैं
जी? ठीक ठाक, अल्लाह का शुक्र. आप सुनाएं?
जी
How are you, Hasnat?
जी.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. I was expecting that you must join us today.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Thank you. Yeah, please ask your question.
I have got a conditional offer letter from London South Bank University. So I have questions about right now the pandemic issues all over the world. So I have a question: will I have to get isolated for 14 days if I go to London in October mid?
Okay, so I'm going to sound a bit like a politician now. My apologies. But as things stand at the moment, there is no quarantine in place, I believe, for students coming from Pakistan. But the situation is changing and has changed over the last few weeks. So, for example, people traveling from Spain were not quarantined 2 weeks ago. Now they have to follow 14 days quarantine. So we are unsure exactly how this will develop over the next few weeks and months. However, again, part of our thinking for delaying the academic year to November, again, if you're coming on an on-campus program, we start in November. If you've applied directly for the university, then probably the start of October is when they will be starting their degree program. But for both options, you are able to come into the UK normally up to 30 days and actually now up to 90 days, I think, with the current regulation. So you can arrive, get into your accommodation and be in quarantine for 2 weeks. At the moment, our quarantine setup is not in a hotel. It's currently you have to self-isolate in your accommodation. And therefore, you should be in a position where you can quarantine and then still start your program unaffected by going into that quarantine for the first 2 weeks. But obviously, this situation is fluid. It does change week on week, day on day. But I believe that's the current situation as things stand. If colleagues, if it's different, then please correct me. But that was my understanding before I went into the weekend.
Yes, exactly. That is the same. Hasnat has got unconditional offer letter for on-campus LSBU, and yeah, he will be joining you in November. So
Okay.
that till that time, more clarity in SOPs will be coming over.
Yeah.
And then he will be able to join the classes on campus.
Secondly, I would like to ask what measures are in place to try to protect people on campus from the virus?
Yeah, in fact, I've spoken. Yes, it's a great question, and obviously, as you can appreciate, the situation is different depending on the city and depending on the university. Actually, I've spoken to my colleagues this morning who are recording a webinar that will be going out this week, exactly outlining those different measures at different on-campus centres. But it will include, I think, all the things that you expect. So in terms of arriving, temperature checks, distancing, traffic through buildings. There will be rotated classes to ensure that face-to-face time are split so that students are limited to the number that are entering and exiting buildings at the same time. So there will be a number of measures, as I said, which will vary depending on how our university partners deem the situation and their own facilities to cope with whatever the current situation is. And as I said, in August, it looks like this. In October and November, it may look different. But you will receive lots of information on this. As I said, there will be general webinars going out. And as part of your pre-arrival information, you'll start to get a lot of this before you arrive. So be very clear of all the precautions we're taking to make sure that you and obviously our staff are safe at the start of term.
Okay. How we will be supported by the uni or government in this pandemic issue?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Yeah. How we will be supported by the uni or a government in this pandemic issue?
How they will support you?
How did they support us, like internet? How did they support international students by the university and the government?
Yeah, but as a general statement, the UK has very much been keen to keep the borders open. And that obviously means that the international students will be able to arrive for their programs within the restrictions that are in place or may be put in place over the next few weeks and months. But the government is keen for international students to keep up their study plans and to come to the UK. And the universities have made adjustments to their campuses, to their classrooms, to their accommodation, as we have as well with our academic year, to try and support you through that. Obviously, we all hope that things will be completely back to normal shortly. But obviously, while we work through the current situation, everybody is doing what they can to ensure that students are safe. So I think that's probably the way to explain how you will be best supported.
Thank you very much for your guidance.
Thank you, Hasnan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy that you got your answers. Right.
Yeah, I've got my answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Tahir, who is the
yes, I'm checking next inquiry. Assalamu alaikum, Zainab. जी ज़ैनब आवाज आ रही है आपको मेरी? अस्सलाम वालेकुम ज़ैनब, आवाज आ रही है आपको मेरी? काइंडली अपना माइक जो है वो ऑन कर लें ताकि आपको आवाज आ जाएगी. माइक ऑन कर लीजिएगा ज़ैनब. चलिए नेक्स्ट इंक्वायरी ले लेते हैं. अस्सलाम वालेकुम असद, आवाज आ रही है आपको मेरी? जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम असद, अपना माइक ऑन कर लें. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम असद, आवाज आ रही है आपको? नेक्स्ट इंक्वायरी ले लेते हैं हम. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम आरिफ, आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Walaikum salam. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, Miss Mehtab, you can ask the question.
Yeah, Marif, would you like to switch on your camera as well?
No, it's not possible right now.
Oh, no worries. No problem. So what is your question? What would you like to ask to Mr. Ron or to me directly? What's your question?
My question is to Mr. Ron that I am an O-level candidate. And my question was that how can I skip my A-level and join bachelor's degree program right after finishing my O-levels third year? I was really overwhelmed when I heard this from Miss Mehtab, but I also need to convince my parents.
That's a very good question.
It's a very good question. And again, you know, I'm always cautious when I hear these inquiries, because for me, it's always very important to understand the strength of an individual candidate and their personal situation. You sound like a very articulate young lady. My guess would be your scores are very good. But yeah, look, I think fast tracking your way through education should only be done if you know it's deemed that you're really ready for it. Obviously, jumping from high school to university in another country is a big step, and ensuring that you are well prepared and able to make that jump is really important. It's not in anyone's benefit for a student to make that jump and to fail on that transition. And that's really where on-campus comes in, that transition, helping you adapt to the UK style of study, ensuring that you have the right building blocks to be successful on a university degree is what we do. Obviously, from an O level up to a degree level is quite a big jump. And as I said, you know, it's not something I would recommend strongly unless the candidate is particularly strong and there are very good reasons why, from a language and academic point of view, and a motivational point of view, that a student's really ready for that jump. But yeah, we have examples, plenty of examples of students who've taken that. As I said, I think through the guidance and the transition that a pathway program can give, you know, that can be that is possible. But yes, it's very much down to the individual's profile.
And secondly, kindly brief me on some programs regarding game development and coding.
Okay. Ms. Mehta, were you going to add something?
Yeah. So would you like to progress into BSc in game design and technology?
Yes.
All right. Through on-campus program, there are plenty of foundation year entries. Through foundation year, you will be selecting courses relevant to computer sciences and engineering. In foundation year, university will prepare you to select your right bachelor's degree program, right? So the university will offer you foundation in sciences and engineering, and you will be studying subjects related to IT, computer sciences, and engineering basic subjects. And once you finish this foundation year, then you will be selecting your right bachelor's degree program to progress on. And there are a number of universities in UK who offer bachelor's in game design and bachelor's in software engineering and like coding, etc. Right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's great.
Lots of options. Yeah, London South Bank, as I mentioned, one of our partners, has very strong. They're actually ranked #1 for graduate prospects, and they have game design and development as one of their degree programs.
Yeah.
But absolutely, there are lots of very good options across the UK.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Marif. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. अपनी नेक्स्ट इंक्वायरी से पहले मैं अपने तमाम व्यूअर्स को इन्फॉर्म करना चाहूँगा, जैसा कि हमारे तमाम व्यूअर्स देख रहे हैं, हमारा बहुत एक ज़बरदस्त किस्म का लाइव सेशन कंटिन्यू है रिलेटेड यूके। हमारे साथ इंटरनेशनल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव भी अवेलेबल है, हमारे एचआर के यूके मैनेजर भी अवेलेबल है। हमारा आज का जो स्पेशल सेशन है, इसका पर्पस ये है कि हम आपके लाइव एप्लीकेशंस लेंगे, लाइव आपको जो भी क्यूरीज है, काउंसलिंग सेशन हो रहा है हमारा, तो आपकी जो भी क्यूरीज है रिलेटेड आईएलटीएस, यूनिवर्सिटी फी स्ट्रक्चर, आपकी जो भी तमाम क्यूरीज है, अभी लाइव कॉल कर सकते हैं आप 034647474043 पर, या फिर नीचे कमेंट सेक्शन पर क्लियर कर सकते हैं। आपकी तमाम क्यूरीज को लाइव क्लियर किया जाएगा और आपकी ऑन स्पॉट एप्लीकेशंस प्लेस की जाएंगी। यस, नेक्स्ट कॉलर की तरफ हम चलते हैं जी। अस्सलाम वालेकुम यूडी, आपका नेम नहीं मेंशन यहाँ पर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम यूडी, आपको आवाज आ रही है मेरी? जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
I guess that's Usman.
अपना माइक ऑन कर लें।
I guess that's
यस उस्मान, आपको आवाज आ रही है? जी 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 उस्मान, आपको आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
Right, that's Usman. That's from our team.
Yeah, my colleague.
Yeah.
Okay. नेक्स्ट कॉलर ले लेते हैं असद अंसारी जी। अस्सलाम वालेकुम असद, आवाज आ रही है आपको? जी असद, आवाज आ रही है आपको? माइक ऑन कर लीजिएगा। मिस, आप अपने क्वेश्चंस को कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं। आई थिंक अभी इंक्वायरी स्पेस हो रही है।
Exactly. We can continue our questions. In the meantime, students, if you want to ask your question,
Yes.
please get in touch with Mr. Tahir. You may drop your message as well and unmute your mic before speaking so that we may hear your questions directly. Right. Ron, if we progress on to the next question, like we normally hear from students during our counseling session, that what are the criteria to apply for scholarships and what are the, is there any specific deadline to apply for scholarship or what are the reasons?
Yeah, so look, I mean, normally we do run some merit scholarships throughout the year on some global campaigns, but very much what we do regionally is work with our local team and with our local partners like yourselves to assess each individual student's transcripts and to deem what we would be able to offer that student. This year is obviously very different. Our recruitment cycle has looked very different. And therefore, no, in terms of deadlines, no, still able to assess students' transcripts and see what is available to aid with their studies at this point. We realize that obviously the pandemic has caused not only the travel issues, but economic issues. And again, we're keen to try where possible to help students and parents continue with the study plan overseas. So again, my local team, Tal and Usman are on the call and Javiria will be able to work with you and the counselors and the students and parents on that. But yes, across all of our centres and most of our programs, there will still be options available for students for this coming intake.
Yeah. Right. And in this situation, what are your expectations that at earliest, when should student apply for the visas for November session?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're now issuing CASs. We're 3 months out from the start of the program. So we are issuing CASs now. Again, we know that the visa service is changing overseas in the sense that some of the priority services have been limited. Those seem to be opening up again now. So again, that is an indication that we hope the visa processing speeds will be back to normal quite soon. So of course, the earlier the better. As I mentioned about the arrival, we're allowing students to arrive, 3-4 weeks in advance of their program, which means again, we're catering for, if there is a quarantine in place, that covers it. The students can get settled in their accommodation and obviously be ready for their studies on the 2nd of November when we start the face-to-face programs.
Yes, exactly. I just want to add something here. Like priority service visa is not available in Pakistan. So Pakistani students will be applying visa in the standard entry scheme. That's why I would recommend all of my students that you need to apply for visa as soon as you meet all entry requirements, and then you are welcome to apply for visa. Because it will take time to get visa and to arrive there. And university is eager to cater you before 3 to 4 weeks commencement of the course start dates, right? I think there are some more students with us.
Yes, Miss. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। उल हक के नाम से हमारे पास इंक्वायरी प्लेस हुई है। जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आवाज़ आ रही है आपको मेरी? अस्सलाम वालेकुम। अपने मैं व्यूअर्स से कहना चाहूँगा जो इंक्वायरीज प्लेस कर रहे हैं, साथ अपना माइक जो है वो ऑन कर लीजिए ताकि आपको हमारी आवाज़ जो है वो क्लियर आ सके। उल हक, आपको आवाज़ आ रही है मेरी? जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आई थिंक जो है वो
अपने नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन ले लेते हैं जो हमें मुझे मैसेजेस पे भी जो रिसीव हो रहे हैं।
जी बिल्कुल श्योर।
Right. Ron, there is another question that what is the specific English requirement to enter into the foundation year program in UK? Mostly students are complaining that there are no dates available for the English test, IELTS English test in Pakistan. So is there any alternate entry requirement from on-campus programs?
So for the majority of our programs, Tier 4 is still required. And therefore, so a recognized UKVI IELTS is still required for the majority of our programs. We do have other options at some centres, in particular on campus Coventry, where we have an intensive foundation program also starting from November. So other alternative language tests are possible. We have a number that are accepted. There's a long list on our website, and again, the local team can explain all the different options. Because students do not require a Tier 4 visa for that program. But at the moment, for the other programs that the UK VI is still required, we don't have the same flexibility. Some of the institutions.
And there is an update that British Council and AU, they both have started taking IELTS tests from August in Pakistan, so that the students who are eager to join November session in UK, they must contact us for booking of IELTS examination as well, so that you may appear in IELTS examination between the months of August or September. If you're appearing in IELTS exam in September as well, still you will be eligible to apply for visa for November session. Right, so this is some extra information for the students who are.
I would like to add something here.
Yeah, sure.
So basically, we have a whole list of available dates, and we can share it with you guys as well. Onwards from 15th of August, we have different dates for IELTS UKVI at AU. Exactly. As well as British Council is also taking bookings from 1st of September. Other than this, we are also accepting PTE, Pearson UKVI, which is running right now from Islamabad, and they will be soon running from Lahore as well as Karachi. So these all are dates are available.
Right, exactly. So students, as you are listening, that there are plenty of other options. Means you can book your PT examination, PT UKVI, which is right now conducting in Islamabad only, but soon they will be starting their test sessions in Lahore and in Karachi as well. In the meantime, AU Lahore, AU Karachi and Islamabad, they are booking tests for August, and British Council is soon, they are going to start their testing in September as well. So if you are planning to apply for admissions, so this is the right time to apply for admissions. In the meantime, we may assist you to book your English examination as well. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, that 2nd of November start date, I think, is helpful for exactly that, getting the test results, still having plenty of time to arrive well before the course.
And for most of the tests, for most of the centers in UK, for the International Foundation year, Ron, you will explain it further, that the English requirement is not so high. So what is the ideal score required for the foundation year entry?
So for many of the foundation courses, it's 4.5 IELTS. So for many Pakistani students, that is not a problem. For some, it is 5. At London, it is 5. And for certain degrees, it can be slightly higher if the exit requirement is maybe 6.5 or 7 in order to progress. But 4.5 is the start point. And again, we have options if students don't quite have the level required. But again, the caliber of our Pakistani students is very high in general, both language and academically. So yeah, I don't see that being an issue for.
Yeah, exactly. Because 4.5 or 5 overall score is not something very high for the Pakistani students. Normally, they all are good in English speaking and even writing, reading as well. So they score easily up to 5.5. So don't worry about your English preparation or English testing. Before applying for admission, I would recommend that you start preparing for English examination, but still you may put your applications to us to apply for admission. You may apply, and then afterwards, on securing your conditional offer letter, you will be clear that what is the entry requirement for English. Right? Asad, aap hame sun rahe hain? If you want to ask your question, you may put your question here. You may put your query. Asad or Zainab?
I think वो mic off है जिसकी वजह से शायद इनको आ रही है. Inquiry placed to I have received an inquiry, Mr. Rohan. Hello.
I think there was some distortion. Tahir, you may continue.
Yes. I have received an inquiry. Just wait a minute. I'm asking.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Ma'am, can you hear me? I'm Zainab.
Right. Yes, Zainab, you're welcome to ask your question here.
Yeah, ma'am, can you hear me?
Zainab, आपका mic दोबारा mute हो गया था.
Yes, we can hear you.
Mic on.
Okay, I got it. Actually, I've never used Zoom, so that's why I was confused.
No, no worries.
I'm using Google Meet for my online classes.
So ask, what do you want to ask? Yes, Zainab, आप हैं हमारे साथ?
ज़ैनब आप जो है वो दोबारा से ज्वाइन कर लीजिए, रीज्वाइन करें ताकि आप हमें भी क्लियर हो जाएगा.
The inconvenience. You know, I have applied to the UK before.
जी ज़ैनब आप ये है कि दोबारा ज्वाइन कर लें, रीज्वाइन करें ताकि हमें भी क्लियर हो जाएगी, क्योंकि आपकी आवाज़ बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही, तो आप रीज्वाइन कर लें काइंड.
Yes, Tahir, आप continue करें. I'm asking Zainab to put her query in written.
Yes, I have received the question from Maryam Mujahid. She wants to confirm that what are the eligibility criteria for admission in UK university, and do we have some scholarship sort of post-graduation admission in UK in field of medicine and public health?
Okay, so in terms of criteria, so that depends on the specific program that then it would apply for. As I mentioned, we have a medicine foundation program that we run at our on-campus UK North Centre, which progresses to a number of universities in the UK and globally. The requirements for that are higher than our standard health and life sciences entry programs. But again, depending on the degree that you're looking to progress onto, we can suggest a range of options, and the requirements for each of those does vary. So it would depend. We'll be able to take you through that through a counselling session. There are scholarships available for some of the health and life sciences. We don't really offer them on the medicine program as standard, but again, the team, the regional team can look at your current situation and advise on that. But they are normally very limited for medicine itself.
Okay. मिस मरियम, आई होप कि आपकी क्यूरी जो है वो क्लियर हो गई होगी. अगर आपकी और भी कोई सवालात हैं, आप हमें अभी कमेंट सेक्शन या फिर हमें लाइव ज्वाइन कर सकती हैं. I have next question from students. CEG group accept Duolingo test in foundation courses?
So yeah, we accept Duolingo as an assessment for the English language. However, if a student needs to come on a Tier 4 visa, then the Duolingo is not enough, as my colleague Talal has mentioned. UK VI IELTS and the Pearson are options, and there are test dates available this month. But if a student, for example, is looking at the intensive foundation that I mentioned at Coventry, then Duolingo, yes, is an assessment we can use to gauge whether a student is admissible or not for that program.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Madab, you can continue. I have.
Yeah, Mr. Ron, I have received one inquiry from the student that is there any chance that student will be asked to stay on campus, but classes will be offered online only, because there are some confusions into student mind that if classes commencement is announced for November, but still universities will not be taking on-campus classes, but they will be offering just online classes by sitting in their own accommodations or university accommodations. So is there any chance that?
There's a chance of anything at the moment, to be honest. Yeah. I cannot categorically rule it out, but the intention at the moment across all of our campuses and centres is, I think I mentioned earlier on, but for those perhaps to join later, we expect the larger lectures to be delivered online, certainly up until Christmas. But there will be face-to-face classes for seminars, tutorials, smaller teaching setups will be face-to-face. Now, again, in a month or 2 months, that may change. But, you know, the government have been very clear, and particularly this weekend, you know, have reinforced the importance of education, and education will be prioritized, you know, over other sectors. So I think everything will happen to ensure that a student's experience, whether it's at school or university, is as usual as possible. And obviously that will involve face-to-face classes. But yes, I think it's fair to expect that some of the classes will be online as part of certainly the first term.
Yeah, because most of the universities have they all are following government SOPs, and they need to make sure that social distancing and student health is our priority. That's why universities will be offering blended learning, like few classes will be on campus, and there will be no huge groups classes. They will split students into smaller groups so that everyone will be socially distancing, and they will be like attending university library and other facilities as well, but they will be in small groups, and some classes will be online as well. So there is blended learning, and all students are welcome to join on campus in November, because education is the priority for UK.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
The next question. Yeah.
Yes, I have received an inquiry from Aisha Mughal. She wants to confirm that she has completed pharmacist, and now she wants to apply in MS in clinical pharmacy. Now she wants to confirm that how can apply in
Tahir, I can guide her later on, because this session is for only undergraduate students.
Okay.
So
okay.
probably
Okay.
we'll be answering questions related to undergraduate programs.
Okay. Maria Mujahid want to ask that how much percentage scholarships are provided for masters in UK?
Same the thing, like for postgraduate questions. Yeah, I will be answering later on to these students.
Sure. Yes, miss, you can continue your questions.
Yeah, Ron, anything else if you want to advise to international students that what are the best things according to checklist, what they should start preparing right now?
Yeah, look, I mean, as I said, you know, we understand that it's been a very difficult time for many prospective students and their parents to try and plan, and to, you know, the uncertainty about whether they will or won't go. Look, I think the thing I would say is, you know, we know, you know, many students don't want their year to be and their continued study to be affected. I want to reassure that all that can be done is being done across our centres and universities to make sure that student study plans are as unaffected as possible. And as part of that, obviously, I would encourage students to if they have hesitated and waited, to get on with their application process as soon as possible. The sooner, you know, we can look at transcripts and have the conversation about which are the best programs, the sooner we can start the process, as you mentioned, in terms of any required English that needs to be taken can be booked, giving time to get the test results, then obviously getting in place all the documentation to apply for visa, and obviously then applying for accommodation. And I do think accommodation will be particularly important this year, being in safe and secure accommodation. I'm sure the parents are keen, you know, that again, accommodation blocks are following the necessary precautions around COVID, and therefore, you know, we want to make sure that students are in that secure accommodation. So yeah, really to start with the process as soon as possible. Don't give up on your dreams for studying this year, I think is a message we're keen for students to understand and to hear, because, you know, I think whilst there is inevitably some disruption, you know, we've done everything that we can to ensure that students can carry on. And, you know, look, it's a great time. The UK, you know, encouraging international students to come and study, the post-study work opportunities that exist for students starting their degree programs this year, and their preparation programs, you know, mean that, you know, I think the UK is still a great destination to come and do your studies, get your degree, and then obviously a great opportunity to get that vital work experience in preparation for your further career. And you know, we're really keen that students don't miss out on a year because of everything that's gone on this year. And again, that's why we're so pleased that our partners, HR consultants and ourselves, you know, we're working very strongly to keep those dreams alive for this year.
Yeah, thank you so very much. As Ron has explained, that everything is positive, and the vibes are also positive for the visa success as well. For this year, we are expecting that visa success ratio will be very good, because many students have compromised their May and September session, or some of the institutions have compromised for the May-June session as well. So after a long time, when things are opening, opportunities are open, so visa success will be very good this year. So the students who are really keen to apply for admission, this is the best time to consider, to look forward to apply for admissions. As Ron has mentioned, that on-campus program all campus programs are open in UK, and the HR team is here to assist you, to completely guide you how to apply for admission, or what visa documents are required beforehand. So you may contact HR counselors through WhatsApp or through your messages as well on our Facebook live streaming. You are welcome to drop your queries. We are here to always answer your queries. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you, Tahir. Thanks for arranging this live session. And it was really good that most of the students have interacted through messages, or they come online to ask their questions. So we are happy that most of them have got their answers. Thank you, Ron. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Tahir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll be inviting you soon again with lots of queries after the results, after the students' A-levels or O-level results examination. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Good luck, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, students. Thanks for joining us today. And we are hoping that all of you are posting your documents to apply for admission. Otherwise, stay tuned with us with our HR live sessions. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.